Happy Monday, folks. And here on Lions Nation Unite, we're getting closer to the NFL draft. Really exciting time here on this Monday, 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. And as we've been doing on this channel, we're going to go through a mock draft here. I'm going to give you my thoughts. Is it justified? Is it BS? Is it all of that? Because we've seen all these mock drafts here and there. And let's be honest here, some of them are completely off in our opinions and in my opinion alone. This one here, I already seen it. I know what it is. I think it's a realistic, good mock draft. I like the players that they selected for the said needs, as well as just BPA at the position. So we're going to go through it and give you my thoughts on this one. Mock to mock. I like doing this. A good segment here. Started from Bro Schmo, went down to Alex from Hail Mary Sports, and then now myself. We all love mock drafts on our respected channels. But before we get into today's video, if you are not a subscriber to Lions Nation Unite, what are you waiting for? If you're a Lions fan, go ahead and subscribe. It really does grow the channel. It helps it out, and that's how all of this algorithm and fun stuff works. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm not even going to do an intro video on this one. No point here. So we're just going to go ahead and look at this bad boy. Fansided, Brad Berryman. Pretty good mock draft here. So at the first pick, it's just going to go through the first round here. He got Jalen Carter. Now look, I like Jalen Carter. The video of his, I don't want to say arrest, but the accident just actually came out. I think it was a day ago, but I seen it this morning. Him lying to the police. Again, I think we all knew that that was the case. I don't know really how it's going to affect it. Look, he's a young kid, and he did some stupid stuff. Personally, I probably would draft him, even though there is some question marks there. And Brad Berryman's drafting him here as well. I just don't believe the Detroit Lions would draft him. That's the biggest question mark, right? Will the Lions draft this guy? He is the number one prospect regarding talent in this draft. Obviously, if you're excluding the pro day, and maybe it was just things on his mind, but I'm going at football film itself. He's a dynamic player in the middle. There's absolutely no doubt about it. He's very talented. Would the Lions take on a player such as him? Yet to be seen, but I understand why he was drafted here at pick 6 for the mock draft, because he is literally the Lions need a defensive tackle. I think it's the biggest need, and he's the best player in the draft, falling to the Lions at 6. Totally understand it. Probably Tyree Wilson. I'm going to be honest here. That's probably what the Lions go with, just my gut feeling. But I don't mind this at all. So let's go ahead and go to pick 18 here, and that's Deonte Banks, the cornerback from Maryland. Again, I think this is very realistic. I think he is a target for the Detroit Lions. Now you say, Mike, they picked up a lot of corners in free agency. No doubt about it. But the players that are on this roster for 2024 is only 2. We're talking Chase Lucas and Sutton. So the Lions need to have players beyond just this year. Now, they could definitely re-sign Gardner Johnson or Mosley if he does well. You know, all the cornerbacks, Jerry Jacobs, everything there. But it makes a lot of sense to get a young player here, even though we stacked at this position. I do 100% believe that Brad Holmes goes BPA. And even if we're at the position right now where we're stacked, it doesn't really matter in his opinion. And I concur with that. Whatever your player is, just go BPA. I think that's the best way, best philosophy to go in the NFL draft. And I would love Deonte Banks. He would make the secondary really good. He doesn't have to start right away. He can learn and be put in certain packages and situations that puts him in position to succeed. We've seen players like Jeffrey Okudah, who was thrown into the mix. It didn't work out so well. I don't know if his confidence got shaken up or what, but this is a situation where that wouldn't occur. And you got the great coaches around him to make sure that it's a good transition. Let's continue on here. Drew Sanders, love the pick here, 48. You know how I've been talking on Lions Nation Unite, my personal channel. Lions must get a linebacker. Drew Sanders is arguably top 3 linebackers in the NFL. Whatever you want to put. You want to put Hanley or my guy Jack Campbell or Trenton Simpson. Whoever you want to put there. He is a second-round talent. I do think he'll be there at 48. one of these guys will be, and the Lions can go get him. He would immediately make the linebacker position much improved, and he can contribute right away. I think he could, I want to say necessarily like a day one starter when, every single down, but he would be in the lineup quite a bit because we need help at linebacker, and he can learn from Alex Anzalone, get in there with Malcolm Rodriguez and Derek Barnes. Good coverage, linebacker, nasty, likes to hit, likes to tackle. How do you not like that? So that is definitely a Dan Campbell type of guy. I like it. I for sure like it. And again, if it wasn't him, I do 100% believe the Lions draft a linebacker in round 2. That is my belief right here, whether it be round 2 or in round 3. I think that is a position they are going to attack. And I understand they don't value LB as much as other positions, but make no mistake about it, it is a position of weakness on this team. Getting a linebacker can make or break some games. Stop the run or on a third down pass where we're getting torched in the middle. So, love the pick. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button really quick. We're trying to get to at least 100 likes in this video. It does help. It's free to do so, folks, and, it pushes the pride out there, right? So let's continue on here. Tuli Tuipolotu. I love this selection here. I absolutely love it. I think this is another BPA type of selection. Love what he did over there for USC. A dog. He is a dog, and to get him in round 2 at 55 would be love it. You're just making the strength stronger. And right now, the Lions just went all defense here. Is this realistic? Potentially, yeah. It depends if he's there. I know they do want a guard. I would expect a guard potentially in round 2 or round 3 because they've brought in a lot of guards for visits. They've scouted a ton of guards, and you got to look at Big V as well as Graham Glasgow. I think this is a spot for a guard or potentially a Hendon Hooker type of player, but I'm not going to complain at all to getting Tuli. Not at all. Again, I go with BPA, and this would be a great pick for the Lions. This is where it takes a turn here. Tucker Kraft, tight end out of South Dakota. I really do not. I mean, they could take a tight end in round 3. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but I would personally, if you haven't got guard yet, get a guard because that is a position of need after this year. And with injuries, it could be this year. 100% believe that would probably be a good spot to get it. Tight end is a luxury pick at this point. You got Brock Wright, you got Shane Zylstra, James Mitchell, whom we drafted last year, and they really do like, by the way. He is a good talent, but he was injured, and the Lions really love this guy. So I think this is not a selection I'd go. This is probably the worst pick so far. Go guard here if you haven't got one at this spot. Let's continue on. Chandler Zavala. Yep, I love this pick. I actually talked about him multiple times on my channel. He is a round 5 selection here. Good spot for him. Developmental guy. I think they'll go a little bit earlier for guard, but you have to take a guard at this point. And I concur. He's a project guy right now, but he's definitely a baller. And I think he could be a starter after next year, for sure. He'd come in. He'd be a good depth player right now. Would love this pick. Yeah, it says right there, we don't got a pick in round 4. Yep. We may have one if they they do trades, as we've seen multiple times. But love the Chandler Zavala here. Like it a lot. And there's other guards the Lions could look at a million times over. I've talked about it. This is a good spot. Absolutely love this pick. Right now, this is probably my favorite pick for the spot. Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He definitely needs some work. He's not ready to start right away. He's got to get better with his accuracy. Got to get better with pocket awareness. But guess what? That's why you draft him in the 6th round to sit there and develop. This is a great pick. I love his athleticism. I love his mobility. I like his big arm. He's got the size and stature, I think, almost perfectly for the Lions. Similar build almost to a Jared Goff type of player. I've talked about him endlessly. I think this is a legit target if they're doing a quarterback for developmental players. I think this is a real legit target. And he doesn't have to be QB2 right away. You do got Nate Sudfeld, and they can battle it out in training camp. And if he's not ready to be a backup, awesome. That's perfectly fine. You just sit there and let him be the number 3. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I could see is a really good QB2 after this year. And I think really the only problem with this guy is honestly his name on his jersey. It is a big name, by the way. Lastly, surely not least, there's no 7th round pick, and they go Jadon Haselwood here from Arkansas. I like the size. He's almost a Marvin Jones or a DJ Chark type of player. Again, you don't have to get the guy here early. You can sit him down. He could be wide receiver 6 after after Marvin Jones leaves after this year. He'd come in and be that Marvin Jones spot. He did have an injury, and it really hurt him. But that's what the Lions do look at. They look at players that probably would be higher, but since there was an injury, he fell a little bit, probably more like a 4th round pick in my opinion. And he's got some nice speed for his size. So yeah, man, I love this pick as well. So not upset about it. Let me know in your comment section. Grade this mock draft here. I'm going to give this a B+, close to an A-. I really like it. Really good job here by Brad, hitting a lot of selections that I like. Maybe OG a little bit earlier. Maybe tight end not happening. But, with all the mock drafts that we've witnessed, I think this is a pretty good one. So let me know in the comment section your grade on this bad boy. And, yeah, with that said, folks, adios.